All right, buddy. Welcome back to another edition of the Leadership Blend television show with your amazing host, Ricardo D. Rice. All right, so move over Tyler Perry. Move over some of the other playwrights you've heard about all your life. There is a new guy in the game, and I am so excited to have him here on the couch today. I'm going to let him introduce himself. So take it away, sir.
I am Deonte Bolden, CEO of Deonte Bolden Productions. I am an actor, playwright, author, director, producer. I do it all.
All right, so tell us about yourself. Give us a little backstory. Where do you come from? How did you get into it? All that good stuff.
Well, I was born in Washington, D.C., raised in Virginia. After high school, I just decided to move to California. I was out there for about 5 years, got into acting, and then suddenly the playwriting bug hit me. I was on set and decided that I had all these creative ideas, and I was like, well, I need to start putting a pencil and a paper together, start writing. And next thing you know, I just started creating projects. And then a little bit after getting into the playwriting, I was like, I need to move to a new location where I can really start to build. So I was like, well, let me just come out to Atlanta and give it a try. And now I'm here working it out and putting out productions now.
So how long have you been in Atlanta?
I've been in Atlanta since 2018, so it's almost 2 years for me in March.
That's good that you were able to get here. Most people get lost in the shuffle in Atlanta. You get here and realize networks are what makes or breaks people. So that's exceptionally well. But to leave LA.
Yeah, I didn't want. I really just felt like I needed a change. You know, LA was good for the acting, but I feel like in LA you can kind of get lost in the sauce when you're starting to, you know, build, because everybody's just for themselves, and people are like that here in Atlanta.
I'm about to say that's
it's like that in the industry, but LA is more like, I don't want to tell you anything, you know, and it's like you kind of become like this small fish in a big pond with everybody, and it just seems like here in Atlanta I can really build and kind of focus and surround myself with good people, because there are still people who have Southern hospitality here that want to help you. You know, you
there's
find
some nice networks. There's some nice networks in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So the acting, how far did you go with acting?
Acting, I did really well. I did a lot of stage productions. I took acting classes with Tasha Smith, who works with Tyler Perry.
Oh, yeah.
T-Saw. And I really did a lot of theater and did some short films and things like that. I recently did a production, of course, here at the Marietta Square with Palmer Williams, who works with Tyler Perry. We did Christmas Carol.
Oh, that's is that Nephew Tommy? No, not Nephew Tommy.
No, he was Love Thy Neighbor, I think.
Yeah, but he goes by something else, doesn't he?
I only know Palmer Williams, but so acting has been pretty good for me. But I've kind of taken a little break and just been focusing on, you know, my own productions and, you know, building my own table. So, yeah.
Oh, we're using that to build. Okay, we're using that. Yeah. All right, so I'm a segue, because that's actually I'm gonna ask you that question since you've experienced it. So, acting classes, did they really help you?
Yeah, it really did, especially if you have a good acting coach and a person that's going to be honest with you. One thing about me, I don't like, even in the playwright, I don't like, you know, the yes man. You know, everything is good that you do. You know, you need honest critiques. And if you have a good acting coach, you know, that will really tell you, hey, I don't believe that, or you suck, you know, you need to work on that, then, you know, it helps you. So I'm always looking for honesty. So I think anytime you do an acting class, you want to make sure you get someone who's going to be honest, skillful, and, you know, will tell you the truth.
So the actors that you get that do your plays, is that something that you prefer, that they have some kind of acting experience or that they've taken classes or something? Does it make a huge difference when you're working with the talent?
The talent matters, but also if they're willing to learn, you know, and willing to, you know, you don't have to be the best actor, but as long as you can take direction and I can kind of help you, you know, acting skills matter to me as well. And taking acting classes, because it shows that you have an interest in the you know, in the art, in the craft. But I'm also looking for people who are willing to learn. I think personality to me is the key, because you can be the best actor in the world, but if I can't give you any constructive criticism and you don't want to listen, then I don't want to work with you. So that's just how I work with it.
All right, so coming down here, you decide you want to start writing plays. How did that process look for you? Like, it was just like, I'm laying across the bed and, you know, it's coming to me, or because people say they have dreams and they get up and they write them down. Some people say that it's been divinely downloaded. What did your process look like?
Well, the reason why I did playwriting is because all of the scripts that I've written, I wrote like tons of scripts over the years. I started writing back in 2015. I originally had the play that I did last year, Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places. It was in a film film format. And I was trying to come out here and start a lot of web series and stuff that I had, but I wasn't able to financially put it all together. So I was like, what can I do to still get my work out there, but also be able to let it be seen? And, you know, if I can't do a film, what else can I do?
Okay, so I know that the writing process looks different for everybody, because I have some friends that do it and they're like, oh, you know, the Lord just gave me a whole download, so I woke up and there was a pen and pad and I was able to do it. Then I have others who are like, no, it takes weeks to actually get through these segments and these scenes. So what does your process look like?
You mean as far as like writing?
Yeah, like writing, coming up with ideas.
For me, it's just based on life experiences. And then also I have the gift of just watching something and just coming up with ideas. I always keep a pen and paper by the bed or something like that as well, because ideas do come for me. But as far as getting into the actual playwriting, most of my scripts I had originally just wrote. Some of them took like 1 or 2 days, and I wrote them in film format. And then based on finances and not being able to put a production together at the moment because I'm starting out, I was like, well, what can I do right now to still get my content out there without having to just, you know, spend all this money on filmmaking? What else can I do that may be cheaper? And that's just me putting on the stage play. Someone was like, just put on the stage play. You know, Tyler Perry did it and all these other great people, you know, put it out there so people can still see what you do, and, you know, eventually you'll be able to do the film that you want to do.
So doing a play was less expensive than doing a web series?
Yeah, because you got to pay so many people. You know, you have all these crew people, you know, you have to, you know, get these locations and stuff like that. And playwriting is more simple because, yeah, you know, you get the location, but you don't have to worry about all these other expenses. You know, you got to get the sound person, you got to get the DP, you got to get all these other people, and it's costly. And if I'm not going to be able to pay a good crew to be able to do that at the moment, then why not just go ahead and do something that I can do right now? Playwright.
Okay, my whole mindset is wrong, because I figured it would be more to
I thought so too
with the play, because
when I started and I realized, I was like, no, this thing.
Okay, so now we have to explore that particular thought. So when you do a play, there's the venue, of course. Mm-hmm. What about all the other stuff that comes into play with the play? Like,
well, you have to have a rehearsal space, mm-hmm. you know, because you got to have rehearsals. You know, you got to have catering. You got to feed your cast and your crew. You know. Stuff.
Okay, I wasn't accounting for that, but I guess if you want to feed them, I mean,
yeah, you know,
I can go to BJ's and feed them. I mean,
their work ethic. You know, you get the best work when you feed people. You know, especially us people of color.
How about you must when you feed us?
Yes.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So I learned that, and basically with playwriting, you got to have props. You know, you got to get your set designer and stuff like that.
That should be expensive.
You know, yeah, but it's not, you know, when you count the film, because film you have to have various locations. You know, with the playwriting, you're at this one particular location unless you're trying to travel and do all this other things. But when you look at the expenses between both, you know, playwriting can be a little bit more cheaper. It just depends, you know, on what filmmaking. I mean, you could do a short film, you know, if you have one particular location, but when you're thinking about filming and, you know, the editing and all that stuff, the, you know, post-production, it's costly, you know. You're looking at about a good $5,000 to $10,000, you know.
Really?
Yeah. And I was actually trying to do a web series, and it, you know, Price of Fame, which was one of my first projects, and when I added up the cost, it was pretty much up there, you know.
Well, let's go there. So mm-hmm. in your initial grouping of things that you came up with, plays, web series, all that good stuff, tell us about some of the I don't want to say failures, because there's no such thing as failures. Tell us something about the less successful projects and what you learned from that.
Well, when I was in LA, I was trying to get into filmmaking, and the first thing I did, which was a mistake for me, trying to do a web series. I think that was a failure at the time, you know, and a lesson learned, I would say, not failure, lesson learned at the time, because you start out and a web series is something continuous, and when you're starting out on a project, everybody's not willing to hop on board and stay on board. You know, with the series, you want to have your regular actors. And then also, the crew. I didn't have a solid crew, and sound was a big issue. I thought there's certain things I didn't need, and I got to look at the thing, and I was like, I can't hear nothing. So I was like, we learned from that, and I was like, let me try something else right now.
But I think that's the part that I hate, because even when we do this, it looks fine until you get all the pieces, and you're like, oh my God, we can't go back and do this stuff again without having to do another week. So yeah, I've learned that lesson the hard way as well.
It was a lesson learned, and like I said, I don't consider failures. I just lesson learned. Now I know, and I'm moving forward and learning as I go.
So when you got here, what was your first play when you got here?
When I first got here, you mean that I wrote?
Yeah.
My first play was my last play that I did last year. It was called Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places. And it was a play that I did last year. And it was about a group of successful women who are out here looking for love, and they're trying to rush to, find Mr. Right, and they end up rushing into these various relationships, and they fall in love with their worst enemy. So that's basically what it's about. It's a great play, and it's very eye-opening. It just teaches you that when we rush God's timing, then we end up falling in love with people that we shouldn't even be in relationships with. So it was a very interesting play, and a lot of people liked it. It was getting reactions throughout the whole play. So yeah, so it was fun.
Okay, so let's actually get into your play last year, because I saw the flyers and everything, and I was like, oh, okay. I like to watch people's processes, because I know how my process is doing all of this, so I like to watch people's processes. So tell me about that whole road to that play last year.
It was interesting.
I see the look in your face.
Yeah, it was interesting. I started out like I start out every project. Nobody really wants to help you. I started trying to do like this GoFundMe thing because I really wanted to put money into my production. But then you just realize that anytime you start something, sometimes you got to be your only person to put it together and do it, because some people are just sitting on the sideline trying to watch you to see what you're going to do. So basically it was just me getting everything. I was trying to find a venue. That was hard. I was reaching out to churches. I ain't gonna talk about that. That was a very interesting.
I have an idea.
It was a very interesting process, because I thought, oh, church, people just gonna invite me in. No.
I learned a lesson hard. Let me ask you a question before you go on. So, do you have a background in this stuff outside of what you did in LA? Did you go to school for it? Did you have an understanding about it?
I took drama in college, but I didn't do anything for like playwriting or anything. That was just like a gift that God just gave me, and I just went along with it. But as far as drama, I did drama throughout school, high school, college.
Well, we're African American, so we tend to be able to bring the drama. Yeah. So we can do that.
But no, as far as that, no, it was just basically learning and, surrounding myself with people who have done it, and, getting other people's expertise in it, and, about advice, along the way, and just doing it. Sometimes I think your best teacher is just getting out there doing it,
I agree.
Making it happen. So,
so you found a venue. What ended up being a venue?
The Patricia Vaughn Cultural Arts Center, which is in Powder Springs, Georgia. And that was an interesting experience as well.
You and it's interesting. Your interest sounds like my interest, which means there's a whole backstory to that process.
It would take a couple of episodes to talk about a lot of my experiences. But yeah. But
share the experiences that you think would be vital for somebody that's sitting in your shoes last year.
Yes. So basically finding a venue and basically making sure that you look at the venue and make sure that it's, something that's going to accommodate you and your team, and making sure that you have the right team in place. That was something I learned last year. I don't think that I have fully the right team in place. One of the issues that I had was my lights, and, we had some issues concerning that, and I wasn't really happy about it. And that was a learning experience for me. And basically making sure that you take control, A lot of times when you first start out, you have a lot of people that want to give their opinions, and they want to try to take over your production. And I'm learning as a director, too, you have to really be assertive and know the vision that God gave you, and be willing to let people go if they're not going to stick around and do what it is that you want them to do, and take control of your project. That was something, a lot of times when you're a Christian, people think that you're a doormat. You just feel like they can just walk all over you. And that was one lesson I learned as well. And to make sure that when God give you the vision, see it through and be consistent and be persistent, regardless of how many people tell you no, regardless of how many people fall away. You still have a goal that God gave you to do, and you have to make sure you see it out. So that's what I've learned. And last year was very interesting in learning, and I took a lot of my experiences last year, and I know what I need to do this year. And make sure you have an effective stage manager. Your stage manager is like your ride or die. My stage manager was pretty interesting.
You was interesting.
So we had a lot of interesting people last year, and I love them. But this year it's.
How about are you keeping? Okay, so never mind. You just answered that when you said this should be new people.
I'm keeping the cast. But some of the crew people got to go. I love them with the love of Christ.
Okay, so how many nights was the first play? How many nights did you do it?
I did the first play September the 13th and 14th of last year. So we did 2 nights at the Patricia Vaughn Cultural Arts Center. And this year I'm looking to do 3 nights. Actually, once I leave here, I'm going to a place to see a venue for this year because we're going to put a play on again this year. So I'm excited about that. So.
How big is it? Like, how many seats did it have in it?
The Patricia Vaughn held about 200 people. The play that I'm actually going to today is 150 people. So that's why I'm like, I'm going to add another night because we sold out actually both nights. I actually had to turn some people away because we didn't have enough seats. Yeah, so that was the interesting part of that. Yeah, because we just had people that were just interested. They saw the flyer. I was going around promoting it and talking about it, handing out flyers. And, you got to be your best promoter also.
Facts.
I was in Walmart parking lot handing out flyers.
Seriously?
I was like, I got to play. Come on. Yeah. So, you got to be your own cheerleader during the process because ain't nobody going to do it for you. You got to do it for yourself. So.
All right. So let's actually talk about the play itself. Mm-hmm. So what was the actual premise of the play? Like...
Well, I said it before. It was about a group of women who are successful. They're nurses, doctors. We had to set in a hospital. And basically, just talking about even though they were successful, they're still looking for love. So
it was all about their dating life.
Yeah. And basically, it was just dealing with the fact that because they wanted to be in love, they were infatuated with the idea of being in love. They ended up going on various sites or finding men, who they felt like were their, partner for life, and they ended up rushing into these various relationships. Some of the signs and warning signs was there for them in the beginning that they weren't the right one, and they ended up falling in love with the wrong person. And we had a lot of things. Some of these men were pedophiles. Some of these men were cheaters. Some of these men were crazy and loony. So we have a lot of different storylines. And basically the theme of the play and the lesson of the play is don't rush into anything. When God has something for you, it's going to come to you, and when we rush ahead of God, then we end up paying the ultimate price for it.
Okay, so we're in 2020, and you've been busy. Tell us what's going on. You've been busy.
Well, I just finished my book. It's called Purpose Pains. It's going to be released in April 20th, 2020. You can actually pre-order it now. I'll provide that information later, but you can go to my website for that. And I'm actually trying to do my own podcast this year.
I saw that. So
yes.
Tell me about that.
It's called DNA, and basically it's going to be about a bunch of us young people. It's about 3 or 4 of us. We're going to be talking about, what it's like to live the young Christian lifestyle being in this entertainment industry, sharing our views, on society and saying that, we have our own struggles too, just because we're Christians don't mean that we don't, sometimes want to cuss somebody out or have, our own
actually,
moments.
these New Age Christians, they do cuss somebody out.
Yes, praise God for them. But it's just, being open and honest. I think Christianity sometimes have a negative, connotation with people because a lot of the things that's going on. But we're still young, trying to, make it in this industry, and we have our own views on things as well. And, of course, my play is also coming back in October.
So you're doing the same one?
Yes, Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places. And that's going to be coming, right now I don't have dates locked in yet, but I'm looking at late October for that. So stay tuned for that.
And you want to do 3 nights this time instead of 2?
3 nights. We're going to do 3 nights. So I'm stretching my faith this year.
Look, if you can sell out 2, you can sell out 3. I'm pretty sure you can get that to make that happen.
Yes, I believe it too. And eventually I want to travel with it, and I'm also planning my next play that I want to do. I've already written, so just staying busy. You got to get out here and make it happen.
Yeah. So any plans to turn it into a movie? Like to turn this play into a movie?
Yes. I'm actually talking to different people as well. Just trying to put a solid team together. I just don't want to make the same mistake that I made last time, because I put 3 projects together and made the same mistake. After the 3rd time, I was like, let me just take a break from this, because if it's not going to be right, then I don't want to put it out there, because everything you do represents your brand. So I don't want to be putting stuff out there and people be like, I can't hear the sound. So I was just like, we're going to scratch that.
I've been through that too. Like, sound is very vital for all those trying to do any of the stuff. Either he does or I do. Sound is a deal breaker.
Yes. And yeah, learning from your mistakes, that's the part of the journey, you're going to make plenty of mistakes, and as you go along, you learn from them and, become better, and I feel like I've looked over my journey, the Facebook memories.
Oh, God, those memories will kill you on Facebook.
Lord, I was so dumb right there, but I learned, and I've grown so much, and I'm happy where God has placed me right now, so I'm happy with the process.
All right, so people that are in your shoes, the younger you. How old are you anyway? Because you keep saying young. How old are we talking? Because I'm older than I look. 30 so
last year. Okay,
you do realize you're fastly getting out of young, right? At 30, it's kind of down.
Yeah. I know when you start turning 30, you be like, people ask you, how old you are? You gotta pause for a moment and be like, 30.
That's the early 30s.
Yeah,
that's the early 30s.
I was like, I was 21, and I was like, 30.
Because life gets real. Because I'm 40. So life gets real once you turn 30. It's like, I'm not immortal anymore. So the stuff that I can get away with, I can't really get away with that stuff now. Not without feeling it the next day. So I absolutely get it. So for those individuals that are listening that desire to do what you've already done, what would be some of the fail-safes you would tell them to put in place so that they don't hit those pitfalls you did?
Be a good listener. That's one. It's important in anything that you do. If you're not willing to listen to constructive criticism that people have for you, then you'll never make it in this industry, and to, pray about everything, that comes from a Christian standpoint for me. It helps me to not be rushing into various things, we get excited about things, and I have a lot of friends who are excited to be, a playwright or whatever, and they tend to rush out, ahead of God's timing. So you want to be praying. And I'll say a third one, just do it, just get out there and do it, make it happen, you're not going to always have it all together. I used to think before, I have to have it all together before I go out and, pursue this dream, just do it, with the resources that you have, and if you truly believe in God, then God ain't going to let you fall, so.
Oh, is that all right? Look at that. All right. All right. So, because I've heard a lot of the stuff from your book, is there a particular chapter that you love? Because you seem to be very vested in your book. Because I read one, mine's different. Yours is like a faith-based type book. So, is there one particular chapter that stands out?
Yeah, because I share some life experiences in there. I would say my chapter in my book, Illumination, and just a brief about that. It's just really understanding that when we go through things in life, it shows God shines light on a lot of people in our circle. A lot of times when we're trying to get into whatever it is that we do, we have a lot of people in our corner that shouldn't be in our corner. We have a lot of friendships, people we're connected to that are not connected to our destiny, that are connected to our history. So we have to be understanding that, God is going to remove a lot of people out of our way. And when I look back on the people who I was connected with 5 years ago, I'm not even connected with them anymore. So a lot of times when we go through things, just look at it as God is removing people. Sometimes we'll be like, oh, well, people fall away from me when I'm down right now. It's like, no, God is removing those people because they don't serve you any purpose anymore. So Illumination is one of my favorite. And I go in on that scripture, on that chapter.
I was about to say, did you use a scripture to base that?
Yes, it is a scripture. There's some scriptures in there too. So.
Give me one. What was one of the scriptures that you based that particular?
When we talk about the scripture, just Psalms 23, where God says, that He will walk. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. And basically in that scripture, I break it down as what it really truly means. And I don't want to get too much into it because you got to read the book to find that out. But, Well,
you actually picked that scripture. I thought about sure you was going to say Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there was a season and a time and all that whole synopsis. I thought that's where you were going to go with that one. So I'm actually impressed.
And of course, we broke down how God is light and how God shines light on things. So I go really in. I just,
like I said, I've seen your Facebook videos on your book, and I was like, Okay, he really learned some things from that whole scenario.
You know, we break it. I break it on down for y'all, and it's a very encouraging book. And you'll leave this book realizing that anything that you do in life, you know, and whatever you go through in life, you can overcome it, and you can still. There's purpose to your pain, you know. So.
That's the name of the book, correct?
Purpose Pains, yes, right.
All right, how did they get the book?
You can actually go on Amazon Kindle right now and pre-order your copy of the book, or you can go to my website, www.DeonteBoldenProductions.com. You want me to spell that out for them?
I mean, if you think you need to, because I have to spell mine out.
Yeah, so D as in dog, EONTE, B as in boy, OL, D as in dog, EN, Productions.com. And actually, if you go on my website, you can get all the information you need concerning the book, concerning the play, and everything that I have going on, because I always keep my website updated. So you go to my website, you'll get everything.
How did they get in touch with you?
My website, and you can also email me at contact@DeonteBoldenProductions.com. Send me, and also on my Facebook, Deonte Bolden or Deonte Bolden Productions. I have a title page as well for that. And my Instagram, same thing, Deonte Bolden Productions. Twitter, same thing, Deonte Bolden Productions. I keep it simple for y'all, and you can contact me there, and I'm always available to hear everyone's reviews, or if you have any questions.
I'll be careful with that. I'd stop doing the review stuff because everybody has an opinion.
Right.
And sometimes they're not. I've learned the value in trolls that actually will troll your stuff just to say stuff.
That is true. I'm kind of curious with the book, because we'll see what people have of that. But
the Saints are the worst critics, right? So you really want feedback from the Saints? I'm just saying, they can be the worst critics.
The good Saints.
You might want to make that distinction. You only want it from the good Saints. Yeah. Because outside of that, that won't go well.
But I don't really look at reviews a lot of times because I know most of them, just like you said, is negative reviews. But, I'm interested in the positive ones.
Okay, I believe that where it is. Any final thoughts for the listeners? Any final thoughts?
Continue to, whatever it is that you want to do, continue to pursue it. Go for your dreams. Don't stop. I believe in plan A and sticking to plan A and doing what it is that God calls you to do. Plan B is just a distraction for me. Really just, continue to go for your dreams, put God first, and believe in yourself first, and don't let anyone take you away from the plan and the destiny that God has for you. That's all. That's enough. That's a mouthful right there. So I will be going to the play this time because I'm coming to the place. I do get a VIP seat, right? If I come. You know what? Don't even ask. I will actually be supportive. I'm going to buy my ticket. I'm going to be supportive. So I will definitely be there. And thank you for being on the show today. And this episode will air next Sunday at 9 a.m. And again, thank you. We will see you guys next time, same place, on the Leadership Blend television show with your host, Ricardo D. Rice.